Oh, what is going on, people? All right, so this is pretty deep, and I really wasn't expecting this at all. But McToon has a challenge, and if you were paying attention, I've kind of addressed this challenge already. But I was doing it with the wrong calculations, and just had the wrong locations. And news to me as well is the best part of this all is that McToon himself has actually walked me through this entire ordeal. Um, so, and I mean, I'll just pop on the screen here real quick. Um, Nailed it, awesome. And then here's just me saying I literally just smashed buttons, taking the flat Earth map and the Swiss ephemeris formulas, which we'll get to here, from a geocentric perspective. Um, and it really truly is the first time that I've had confidence that what I'm creating is astronomically correct. Anytime I've dabbled with the astronomy, it was basically an astrology based experience where I'm just trying to find correlation, and some astronomy I'm trying to find aspect changes, retrograde periods, and things like that, which show some sort of market correlation with the financial markets. So yeah, and I'm like, yeah, so I kind of completed your challenge. And then he's like, using the Swiss ephemeris or any of the other ones uses the globe. It doesn't though, my guy. And here it is right here. It actually uses the equatorial rectangular coordinates. And there's other, here's just a YouTube video where you can calculate spherical coordinates back to Cartesian coordinates. You can literally bounce, and you should know this, McToon, and anybody who considers himself a math guy, this guy would vouch for it, that you can literally bounce between the perspectives. You just need the right mathematical formula. Not really my forte, but there it is. This guy's doing it, and I've done it here. What you know it does use indeed the Swiss ephemeris uses equatorial rectangular coordinates, which, if you think about it, really makes a lot of sense. Now, a great place to be considering a buy in Bitcoin, but what you have in a there's this square. I could display it with that, but really the if you think about a rectangular coordinates, forget about the math formula that goes behind it. Think about it intellectually. This is your plane, and that can be round, there could be a triangle down here. It doesn't really matter what the plane itself is, much like having mountains and things. But this is going to give you your location on any such thing, which is what this is. It's the cross right there. Is the observer's location, who's looking at the stars in his challenge, and the top of the rectangle is where the stars are actually located. It just makes perfect sense. But so to me, that was interesting. Absolutely completed this challenge with his help, and I don't expect the 10K. I expect people to be he created this to try to look how intellectually superior I am. Look at all of these. We're 12 knots that we're at moving speed in the ocean there as he's taking this. Which he even told me in the email. You had to butter him up a little bit, get some inside information so that I can create the proper two-dimensional flat earth plane perspective of it. Buttered him up a little bit. He's a good guy, I like talking to him, but he was able to get enough information to where he actually confirmed that this was Arcturus right here. And so as soon as I just was able to locate Arcturus, I was just like, oh, okay, so I have confidence in this particular calculation method, the Swiss ephemeris, which is given the correct star locations. Oh, and bingo bango, there's your location right there. Now, one thing that I was doing wrong is that I had the barycenter on, and just getting rid of that and just keeping it a standard geocentric perspective, center of the universe. We get the exact readout that you get when you apply all that other mathematical formula to make it spherical. It comes back the exact same, and that is quite literally the text that all the quotes of these past mathematicians and physicists on a much higher level than anyone I've had the pleasure of dealing with, that have said, there's no way to tell whether the stars and the heavens rotate above us, or we are in motion. There's not, but through they most of them said through like a terrestrial experience. I disagree. I think the experiments you can do are pretty obvious, especially now with zoom. They didn't have optical zooms back in the 1800s and previous to that, but the just the flat earth perspective of how your eyes work and what's happening with vision and lines of sight, you apply that with the rest of it. I mean, there's just so many strong inclinations, that we are flat and fixed. And not only that, but I also was able to call McToon out on his one of his best arguments, the theodolites. They're again imposing math. They're literally adding math to the calculations to make it work and to make it go over 180 degrees. But all of those measurements are basically right bang on 180 degrees with a very small margin of error. It's a few decimal. It's like a decimal point. But anyway, so this was fun. I had fun doing this. I've completed this 10K challenge. It's effortlessly done. And from the flat earth perspective, there's absolutely nothing globular, spherical going on here. This is a flat two-dimensional perspective. It's just using the Swiss mathematical calculation, which is rectangular coordinate system. Again, it's some pretty nerdy math. It's literally above my head, but I'm just like a dumb monkey pressing buttons. I'm gonna make it work. I'm a gamer, baby. I'll get to the final boss. I will get there, and I'm gonna beat him. That's just how I get down. That's how I get busy, baby. But so this was fun, and yeah, this just goes through. From the center of the Earth, the geometric center of the Earth. This is our center. And fundamental plane in the planes of the Earth's equator. This is just our plane of existence. And so yeah, and when you use it rectangular, you can use degrees. This point of observation comes in, and you have your degrees that you're observing it. It all makes perfect sense. I couldn't reproduce it, without the help of my computer. I wouldn't have a choice or a chance. But just like the financial markets, and I've said this many times, is you don't need to know, what Gann was doing. You don't need to know what Ralph Nelson Elliott Wave was doing. We have computers that do that for us now, and so take that and use that as your advantage and be a pioneer in the markets, and most certainly in the astronomy and just physics, life perspectives. Be that pioneer and build off of what people have brought before us. But anyways, I don't mean to sound egotistical or arrogant or anything. I just had a lot of fun doing this, and he was a great guy walking me through everything, literally because he was interested in it as well. He's like, hey, he could see that there's something to it, and sure enough, this dumb monkey smashed the buttons, and we got to the end game there. So yeah, and I don't even know what else to say about that, but quite literally every piece of evidence that I've seen, this Earth is a flat fixed plane, and this makes sense of it astronomically on the exact same level of detail that we have now through any other spherical coordinates. So just as he declines it, saying using other ones, this uses a globe. There's nothing about a globe. The only time it becomes a projection of the globe is when I make it spherical. This literally starts out raw and nothing. I'll pull up the other one here. This is what you get. And you have to go in and set the time. You have to go in and set the calculation method. You have to pick which you want. Look, you can literally just restrict everything. There's nothing. This is just a flat plane of nothingness. It's a open table. It's like a blank piece of paper. You have to create it, and it's not until you come in here and hit sphere that you make it a sphere, and it implies that spherical calculations. Until then, it's a flat fixed plane. There's nothing globular about it. And this is not spherical at all. There's nothing that I can do to fix to make it a sphere. So it's absolutely 100% crush this challenge. Probably will never see my 10K for it, but anyways, this is my reply to anyway. This is awkward, but it doesn't use the globe anything until you choose to view it in spherical coordinates. It's just how basic the program is. It really is. You have to input everything. The Swiss ephemeris uses equatorial rectangular coordinates, which makes sense if you think about it. I just went through that. It does absolutely satisfy every aspect of the challenge, and you help me with the nerdy aspects of it, just making sure. And the crossing circles was the big thing. I didn't realize that the circle should cross. And if we look at his thing here, you can see that cross. It's in the exact same location. So really cool stuff. I didn't know that. And he kind of walked me through that. And I do appreciate it because it's helping me give a better understanding of astronomy in general. But so yeah, it also does prove that you can bounce, and this was the whole beef between flat earthers and globe people, is that, oh, they took our map and made it spherical and they changed it, so now it's all fucked. It's not fucked. You can literally just go back and forth between them effortlessly. It's really easy to do if you have a computer to do it. Doing it mathematically, like, get out of here. You're a weirdo if you're doing all this on paper. But that's the whole point. Let's use technology to our reason. In this materialistic world, can we actually use it beneficially? That'd be great. Yeah, so what I said is it also proves that you can bounce between flat and spherical perspectives to get the same math at the end of it. This is math being imposed to make my model work. It's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just using math to make it work. Much like how he's using the theodolite argument, he's adding spherical excess, and it creates the spherical measurements within the theodolite. If you don't have that spherical excess and you just use the measurements, and it's older in our conversation, but if you go look at some of his conversations, it's kind of his best talking point, is that he brings up on the theodolites doing their surveys, when they create a triangle, the triangle has more than 180 degrees, and if it's a flat plane, it shouldn't. Well, it doesn't. It's only when you add the spherical excess, you add an additional variable, and you're just literally hitting the plus button to make it go over 180 degrees. It's quite literally all of his examples he gives are like bang on 180 degrees. He's literally showing us that it's a perfect triangle. It's fucking crazy, man. I don't know what. Like, I'm still on just having this the fact that he's backed out from this channel. He should have said gladly, yes, what's your Bitcoin wallet? That should have been the reply that I got today, and that's why I'm making this video. But he didn't say that, so again, I'm starting to lean towards he might be a little bit snaky here. Or, and I think what I just sent to him might not even be in this updated thing. Yeah, no, so I'm not surprised you want to deny it. It shattered your entire paradigm. Which I literally just went through this like a month and a half ago, and I've been fucking down this flat earth rabbit hole, and which just leads you to science and leads you to math since. And so yeah, join the club, Michael. We could use people with strong math skills on Team Flat Earth, where we just know that you can bounce between the two. Doesn't mean the Earth's a sphere. And when you go and use your regular just senses and your observations, like what we imply, you can tell that it's a flat, fixed plane. But anyways, so rant over. 10K challenge is done with. I'll probably never see that. They'll probably just delete that from existence, but it was fun. I had fun.